Kia ora koutou and welcome to the final episode of Women Where It Matters. I'm Grace Thomas.
And I'm Natasha Payne.
And this week we're taking a look at women in trades and how the National Association for Women in Construction are encouraging young girls to get on the tools.
So we went along to meet one young tradie, Aria, who was studying construction at Ara Canterbury.
My name is Aria Manihira and I joined Ara Trades about February, beginning of this year, doing carpentry.
Pull the trigger first, eh?
For over 10 years, my full-time job has been a mum. So my kids have grown up now and they're able to like spread their wings and I don't have to worry about them so much, so it's not consuming as much energy of mine. So I'm able to come out and try new things and do something for myself. So it's a big change and it's been an awesome year.
At Home Plus we're doing wardrobes and putting up shelves and stuff.
First I wasn't fully prepared, I didn't know what I was going to do. All I knew is I like to work with wood. And so carpentry, building houses, watching houses being built, little tiny homes and all that kind of stuff, I've always had an attraction to it. So that's pretty much what made me join.
How was it though working in a male-dominated industry? Being one of the only kind of women on the job?
It's awesome. It's really comes down to the person in general. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or whether you're a female, it just comes down to what you think, how you personally feel, and then you just get into it. And then you just I don't think about it's a man's world or it's known to be a man's world. Yeah, I just think about what I'm gaining out of it. Think about what I'm gaining out of this, what I've gained out of this so far, how cool the tutors here have been, and the males, they're all good. There's a bit of male muck around.
What would you say to, young girls or just young people in general that are thinking about getting into a trade but aren't too sure?
No, that's a goodie. I would just say go for it. Go for it. Even though it's known to be a man's world or whatever, but if you enjoy working with wood, just go for it. Just go for it. Yeah.
And now we're joined by Rebecca Hodges, who is the Canterbury Chair for the National Association for Women in Construction. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us today. How did you get started out in this industry?
That's probably a bit of a long story actually. I kind of fell into construction actually. I had studied at uni. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Classics and Philosophy, so a bit of a random combination of subjects. I decided that probably wasn't going to lead me to a specific career, so then I studied interior design. And then once I had finished that, I started working for a manufacturer dealing with kind of orders and pricing and so forth. And then an opportunity came up within the construction industry as a design manager cadet. Yeah, it is a bit of I have a bit of an unusual path of getting into the construction industry. It certainly wasn't something that I ever really thought about when I was at school, getting into that. So yeah, but I'm glad I am, and it's an awesome industry. But
you're the Canterbury Chair for the National Association of Women in Construction. It's a volunteer-run and non-profit association. Can you just explain a bit about what NAWIC do?
NAWIC are an organisation that's been around for a long time. So it originally formed in 1952 in the US, and it formed as a bunch of women who were mainly suppliers to the construction industry, who worked in an industry that was obviously very male-dominated at the time. So they kind of banded together to be a bit of a support for each other, and it's grown from there. So NAWIC formed in New Zealand in 1996 in Wellington, so it's been around a while, and then it's been around in Christchurch and Auckland since 2012. But effectively we're an organisation that supports women in the wider construction industry, so in roles that are like trade-based roles on the tools, roles like myself, for a main contractor, health and safety, suppliers, engineers, architects, kind of anyone who's involved in the construction industry really. So it's a place where we can support each other and learn more through the events that we put on.
Now, despite women making up half of New Zealand's population, they only hold about 3% of the jobs in the trades industry or construction as well. What do you think we can do to change these statistics?
Well, that's something that we're working very hard on changing. So one area that we've identified is that it's important to introduce construction to children, I guess, both male and female from a young age, and get them on board with this idea that women can do anything and that girls can be part of this industry, because from an early age there's this notion that construction is very much a male industry. So that's something that we're trying to tackle from an early age, to show girls that actually you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a builder, you can be a plumber, you can be any role within the construction industry. So that's something that we're working hard at, kind of encouraging that from an early age. But yes, and that's one of the kind of many things that we're doing, but that's something that's quite key, I guess, getting that interest from early on.
Do you think it is important to get into schools and kind of get that interest in young girls and young women early, that this is a career that they can actually do and it's not just for the boys?
Yes, and definitely part of that is one thing, it's hard to be what you don't see. So as a young girl, if you do think, oh, I'd quite like to be a plumber, you look around on construction sites and there are only males there. And so part of what we do is, I guess, showing that, hey, I'm a woman and I work in construction, and kind of putting a face to that role as a woman, and that's quite a key component.
How do we specifically encourage women into this industry, do you think?
Good question. I think there's probably a whole range of different ways that you do that. Again, by showing the different roles that you can do, the variety of roles and the representation of women in those roles. Also, there's a lot of work around, there was a study that was done that I found quite interesting in Australia, where a group of researchers had got together and their goal was to try and find out why there were so few women in the construction industry and the factors that made it unappealing to women. So they interviewed a whole range of women, had quite a substantial list of things that were challenging. They then spoke to their male counterparts and realised that actually the issues that the women were facing were actually issues that the males were facing as well. So then it changed the nature of the research around, from just being identifying the challenges and how do we make that more appealing to women, to how do we make the industry better for everyone. So I think by trying to improve some of the challenges that we have in construction, so the long hours, the stress, those sort of aspects inevitably will make it more appealing for women as well, and make it better for everyone involved in the industry. So
they're kind of almost like a revamp of the industry, do you think, that's needed? You said it, it's not just issues that are facing women, but also men are facing the same issues. Yeah.
Definitely. And obviously at the present moment, the construction industry has a lot of pressures on it, obviously with the likes of some of the Fletcher construction projects and the fire in the convention centre in Auckland and so forth. There are a lot of issues that are forcing the construction industry to change in a number of ways, and so I think inevitably making it a better place for the people involved will become part of that change. So that's definitely happening and will continue to happen over the next few years, I would imagine.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Rebecca.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for our final episode of Women Where It Matters. Ka kite anō.